Am I on? And I'm here? Are there people in there? I'm talking to the person. Jamie, are there people there? Okay, guys. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome. You're coming in, you're sitting down, you've had your dinner. Have you? What'd you have? Was it good? I don't know. I left home and they were all having cereal for dinner, which is standard in my house. Welcome to Keeping Up with Teen Tech, brought to you by Telstra. I am Em Russiano. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm a writer. I'm a singer. I'm a maximalist power queen. I am the mother to 3 children, 2 of whom are teenagers. I have a 14-year-old and a 19-year-old who are very active online. And so when I was asked to do this, I jumped at the chance, to be honest, because I genuinely want to understand what my girls are doing when they head off into their bedrooms with their phones. I have no idea. And tonight, I'm pretty excited to be joined by some people who are far smarter than me about these things, about these issues. We're gonna walk away. You're going to be able to have a proper conversation with your Generation Z. They're going to think you're amazing. So I'm going to welcome them into the arena. First of all, I'm joined by this social media expert, Grace Watkins. Gracie, welcome.
Here.
Oh, darling, loving your backdrop. You're winning so far. I mean, coming second, obviously,
I don't
to
think
this.
I can compete with you.
It's not a competition, Gracie, but if it was, I know I would win, which is very important because I'm super petty. Okay, next, joining us. Now, this man I've spent some time with, and I've decided if I'm going to do a stand-up show, he's the person I'm picking on in the audience. He was on time for everything. He's super organised. He's got like colourful backgrounds. His name is Scott Borson. Hello, Scotty.
Good evening.
Hey,
Howdy,
Scotty.
howdy.
Yeah, Scotty is an influencer. He's got a huge following on the TikTok. Haven't you, darling?
It's a following.
Oh, don't
It
be
depends on
modest.
everyone's definition of huge.
Well, okay, yes. But look, you're here to really, I'm so glad you're here because TikTok's a bit of a mystery to me. So thank you for being here. We're very excited. We also have digital content expert from Reach Out. Where are you, my darling Annie?
G'day.
I'm waiting.
Hey,
Here she
guys.
is. With your little Amy Shark top knot. I love it.
It's that
I wish I
fresh
could do a top
hair kind of vibe.
You look fresh. You look amazing. You've made your bed, which is just a step up on what I've achieved today. And finally, cyber safety hero from Telstra, Darren Pauly Daz.
Thank you. Yeah, it's probably
Yes,
my
mate.
best title, hero. Yeah, I say that often.
Oh, look, I just wish you were in uniform. I just feel like Telstra needs to give you guys some kick-ass uniforms to walk around in because you are cyber safety. You're welcome. Okay, guys, everyone watching now, together, this team of incredible experts and I, we're going to have a discussion which will hopefully help you all feel a little less lost with what's going on online. And I always feel behind. I know a lot of you do. And I want you, and all of us want you, Telstra especially, want you to walk away just feeling like you're a bit more with it, a bit groovier, but don't use the word groovy because you will be judged. Now, you can ask a question at any time in the panel to the right, and we will endeavour to get to them at the end, to the Q&A. And also, please answer the polls. We're going to be having polls, and your answers will help us kind of understand the things you want to know more about after the webinar. So, you know, I love some interaction. If any of you out there have been to my shows, I love interaction. So ask as many questions as you want, answer the polls. Let's do this together. And also, I'm aware to my soul that the online space can come with challenges for parents and teens. And if anything comes up for you and you need some extra support, you can contact Lifeline on 131114 or 000 or Reach Out's urgent help page. All right, let's get going. Is everyone comfortable? Are you in? Here we go. Exhale. Up to the plate, may I please have Scotty reporting to the online arena. Hello, Scotty, darling.
Howdy, howdy.
Strap in. Here we go.
We're ready.
Good. I've got my notes. I'm ready. I'm so excited. I'm genuinely a parent who is lost in the woods, in the online woods. Less than 1 in 5 of Aussie adults feel that they can actually keep up with the latest trends and things that are happening online. Now, you are a rising TikToker. What makes something a trend? Like, why do things catch fire? Who decides that? Who's the boss of trends?
I think the best part about it is everyone is the boss of trends. No one really has any say, but as a group, everyone has a say, which is great. to make a trend or to make something a trend, you kind of need to intrigue the viewer, because really they're the ones who do everything. So anything that's relatable nowadays and can be maybe recreated, or that people just see and go, oh yeah, that could have happened to me. And then they engage with as a result. That's kind of what starts to build trends. So really anything one person does doesn't necessarily have an effect, but it's the group as a whole, which makes it super cool, because you might have a fantastic idea and then other people might jump onto it, latch onto it, and make it absolutely huge. And that's what's happened with a lot of the trends on TikTok, is that they start super small with one person, and then everyone else jumps in and adds their own 2 cents onto it as well. And it becomes this really big community of people just doing all sorts of funky things. So that's kind of what makes something a trend. And yeah, it's really just the authenticity that comes with the space now as well. Because you have all these different people creating it, the barrier to entry is super low. You have so many different people creating. And so when people can connect with something, that makes them feel included, and then boosts everything as well. So it's kind of a really cool space to be in. But
yeah, and I think a lot of parents don't realize that. TikTok caters itself to their kids' needs. So my daughter Odette, who's 14, she loves kind of white witchcraft, crystals and casting spells and lighting candles under full moons. And there's a whole kind of community of TikTok witches. And then, it depending on what your kind of interest is, it really can kind of narrow down, can't it?
Very much so, very much so. My feed would be very different to your feed.
How dare you? What are you suggesting? What's in my feed?
Oh, I don't know, but I know my feed is full of cars and food and lots of people buying plants and in happy relationships, and your feed might be completely different.
Oh God, I would love to press down on you and what you think my feed is, because it would be darker than you expect, I think.
I think it's a lot of really high tier comedy.
Yes, it is, but also like people buying plants and in happy relationships and stuff. Like
there we go.
And Scotty.
We all have.
Hey,
them. Everyone's got the crossover.
What have been some of the trends? I know that I was forced to drink this disgusting, offensive whipped coffee a few months ago. Like, what else have we been? Why was it whipped coffee, by the way?
Whipped coffee. I'm not sure I heard
Did
about
you
that.
See
one.
that?
No.
What
Can
about
you
the lettuce
explain it
water?
briefly for me?
No.
Oh, the lettuce water. That was everywhere. Yeah.
What was that?
And
Tell
again,
me.
it was just one person who, whether it was an old rumor that they'd heard from a family member or someone in their community, they put out on TikTok basically that if you're having trouble getting to sleep at night, you should put water or hot water in a cup with lettuce and make effectively lettuce tea, I guess I would call it. But lettuce water is what it went
around as.
It's
the saddest tea ever.
Yeah, and drink that, and it supposedly makes you feel a little bit more drowsy and go to sleep easier. So that's kind of what it was. And that all stemmed from just one person posting their story or sharing their little tale that they'd been told, which apparently helped them. And other people picked up on it and tried trying it. And that's where I think it really grew, is people sharing their experience then, going, yeah, this helped me. And then someone else saw that and jumped in on it as well. And it really just blew up from there to being in every household around the nation.
Scotty, why do you think TikTok in particular has captured the hearts and souls of our teenagers? What is it about? Because if I mention Facebook in front of my teenagers, they just glaze over. They're like, Mum, you're 1,000. But so why has TikTok really just taken them?
It's, I think, the short attention span. I don't know if everyone has it, but I know I have it nowadays. It's something that when Facebook first came out, I was the same way with Facebook. Like, you jump on Facebook and you get so much of what you want to see. And TikTok's just made that even more condensed and super easy to consume. So with a short attention span, you're just being fed videos, which are super short all the time. If you don't like something, you're swiping past it in the first couple of seconds. And the algorithm is particularly good. It picks up on that and starts to just show you more and more content that you're watching for longer.
Yeah.
And so the more you watch, the better your feed becomes tailored to you. And I think that, because it's all super short form, you can bounce around super quickly, going from plants to cooking to lettuce tea to anything else after that super quickly and easily.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I think it's grabbed people's attention.
Yeah.
But also because it's just everyday people, which is initially why Facebook boomed as well, and why Instagram boomed. You're connecting with people you know just on a slightly different level nowadays.
Yeah, and in your niche weirdness, it's always great when your weird matches with someone else's weird and you feel less weird. And then you find a whole group of weird and it's the best. Now, this isn't a segue to suggest that Grace is weird, but I'm going to bring Gracie in now. Hello, darling.
Hi, Em. How's it going?
Now, look, you do work with a lot of our biggest gamers, so you're across weird, and I say that as a card-carrying weird person. Gaming is obviously huge with our kids. I just remember Fortnite was like a religion for
Yes.
us for a little while. Can you help me, because I got sent information today about something called a Twitch and a Discord? What is a Twitch and a Discord, and how can, like, if a parents are watching now going, I don't understand either. Although I'm also aware a lot of parents are going, get with it. How can I be more involved with a Twitch and a Discord? What is that?
Well, I think to backtrack for a second,
Good, yes.
beyond the games that people are playing, there's a lot of platforms that they're generally interacting with to sort of enable that gameplay or to watch others play games, and Twitch and Discord fit into that. So beyond the games that your kids might be playing, like a Fortnite or a Minecraft or a Roblox, they might also be watching or streaming themselves on a platform like Twitch. So Twitch is one of the biggest gaming streaming platforms. So you could log on to Twitch and either stream yourself playing a game. And
people want to watch that?
Well, people might not want to watch your gameplay, but people do want to watch lots of other people's gameplay.
How dare you? I am amazing with Wario on Mario Kart, I'll have you know. Okay, yeah.
And Discord is a platform. It's really like a community kind of chat-based platform. A lot of people are in there talking about particular games that they like, or interacting with friends, or interacting with particular groups. And then YouTube as well would be the other major platform where people are watching other people play games, or all sorts of different videos, of course. But in the gaming world, there's a huge market of creators that really create these little videos of themselves that might be 10 to 20 minutes long, and they might be doing a particular challenge in game, or playing the game in a funny or entertaining way, and they amass audiences of millions of people that want to watch them do that every day.
Really? Millions? And assuming they make millions themselves.
Yeah, the best of the best. It can be a really lucrative career. Yeah.
And is Fortnite still big? Like, that's the only one I can come up with. Is that still the big game amongst people watching now with, teenage kids?
Fortnite's massive. It's one of the biggest games in the world. I would say Minecraft and Roblox are also really up there. And I think those sort of games are probably the way that things are trending going forward. I think these sorts of games, they might be different to the perception that you might have in your mind as to what a game is. I think a lot of people think about video games and they're thinking kind of like an old school, like, oh, you log on and you have to complete a challenge and then you win. Like, these games, they have that element, but they also have a huge amount more depth. And a lot of people would call them like a sandbox game, where you can go in and you can create things and build things and set little challenges for yourself. And they're really a whole ecosystem in and of themselves. They're extremely interactive with other people. That's where I think it's going. Yeah.
So obviously the potential there for kids to get totally lost in that world and separate themselves from their families. So if I'm a parent wanting to, have something a bit more in common with my kid who's a gamer, how can I be more involved? What can I do?
Yeah, I think this is something I actually hear heaps of from parents all the time. And it's actually been amazing, some of the messages and emails I've received, particularly over the last year with COVID, how many parents have actually found gaming such a great way to connect with their kids over the past year, whether that's actually playing games themselves together, or even just taking an interest in watching the same kind of gaming content that their kids might be watching online. And I think a lot of that kind of disconnect between parents and kids can come where there's just a lack of understanding, or sort of even a lack of desire to understand. So I feel as though even parents kind of making the effort, or having a conversation about what their kids might be playing and why their kids like it, and if they're playing with their friends and what sorts of things are fun or entertaining about it, I think is a great first step.
That's such good advice, because being curious as a parent is a kind of a strange reversal in the dynamic. So actually going cap in hand to your kid and saying, hey, explain it to me. I think that's a really great thing to do. And so you've had people come to you and say they've done that and had great results?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's so funny, because growing up, like, my brother was hugely into games. I actually wasn't. and I have vivid memories of my parents probably not really understanding, and that potentially causing points of tension at times. I think, yeah, I mean, I think understanding, I think gaming can still have a bit of a stigma. I think there's probably a stereotype around what gamers are or look like or what they're doing or the kind of way that they're playing. And it's like, I don't know, a teenage boy in a dark basement or something playing.
Yep. You've pretty much read my mind in terms of how I'm envisaging a gamer.
Yeah, and I think it's not that
No.
anymore. It really doesn't have to be. There's such a huge variety. I think the negative connotations that can come with gaming, maybe exist in some parts of it, but also there can be incredible things that come from gaming. The ability for kids to connect, the ability for kids to build problem-solving skills. There's huge amounts of good that can come from it as well. So I think just sort of not going in with a preconceived mindset around what might be a negativity, and kind of going in there with a little bit more openness and curiosity is really good for connecting.
Oh, you're a wise woman. All right, I'm bringing Scotty back in. Hello, Scotty. Come in. There he is.
I'm back.
There he is. Scotty, how can parents, okay, say I want to like connect with my kids and I want to find out what is actually trending online. How do I do that?
I think that's almost like a two-step or two-part question is how do
Okay.
you connect with your kids and then how do you get involved? The easiest way to get involved is obviously just to download and start using the platforms, the apps. There is something for everyone.
Wait,
on
are
every
you
platform.
suggesting all the parents like start a TikTok?
Not even necessarily start their own TikTok, just start consuming.
Okay.
The feed is what everyone is there for. You're there to be entertained, which is what platforms are for. And it's the same on Twitch. And it's, just basically get involved. It's the easiest way to find out what's trending. As you start to scroll, start to view, you'll pick up on little things. The easiest way to pick up on them is things that you see repeated, whether it's a sound, whether it's someone doing the same dance that you see over and over, if that's what you're watching. That's the easiest way to kind of understand what's trending, is to get in and be part of it. But then to connect with your kids is almost a little bit aside from that. It's to just start to build that relationship there. The way I did it was just start showing my parents the videos that I like to watch occasionally. We've got a nice little Facebook group that we send them in occasionally. And that kind of starts to build that understanding of, this is what this platform might be about. But also like, this is what I'm watching. And I did that years ago, and I think they really appreciate it. But I also know my cousins do the same thing. They just send videos amongst themselves. So maybe start sharing videos that you've seen that you might think your kids like with your kids.
Yes, Scotty.
Gauge their response from there. It'll also help you kind of understand where on the platform they are as well.
Yeah, I love that. So like start a family group chat. And I've said to my girls, and we already do that, we send each other stuff all the time. And I think it's a great way just to engage with them, but also be like, can you feed the dogs? You know, if you get the group chat going and it's on fire, you can slide other stuff in there.
It's great. Slot it in, get the chores in there.
Totally.
Also, cooking. On TikTok especially, there's a huge cooking section. Taste.com, I believe, have a fantastic account where I found the caramel recipes. If you've got caramel chocolate, air fry it. Incredible. You'll get kids on site any day of the week for dessert. So little bits and pieces like that, maybe you could get them cooking dessert for you.
Did you just say
dinner?
Air
There you go. A couple of ideas for you.
Oh my God. I'm getting so much out of this. Amazing. I really love that. Start a group chat with your kids. Everyone watching, take notes and start sending them. And also say to them, hey, kids, send me the stuff that made you laugh this week or things that I think it's okay, again, and to kind of underline what Grace said, being the kid for once and letting your kid be the parent. I think it's a cool kind of role reversal that they will enjoy. I'm going to bring in Annie. Hello, Annie. Where are you?
Hello, I'm back.
You're back. I know there's a little side chat going on that everyone at home can't see, and I was worried about you for a bit, but you're okay.
I'm all good.
Okay. Now, Annie, you are from Reach Out, which is an online mental health service for young people and parents in Australia. Setting boundaries around technology use and screen time, because in my house, people just walk around going, screen time, when we bust people on their screens. So I don't know that Reach Out would recommend that. But how do you, a lot of parents want to know the answer to this. How do you have a good, healthy, open conversation with your teenager around boundaries with their technology?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing is to go in without judgment. And I think Grace spoke a bit about that as well. But it's really about going in and being curious and not going in with preconceived notions of what, even how your teen is going to react to you, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go in thinking, well, I know that they're going to say this, so I'm armed and I'm prepared, and I'm going to sort of fight back, then you're probably not going to start the conversation off on the foot that will actually help your teen talk to you openly. And then the other sort of like, I guess the next thing is to just be open to learning from them. And I think Scott spoke really nicely to that as well, which is that like you can be a bit vulnerable and you can say like, you know, like I'm lame mom and I don't actually get what this is, but like it's a part of your life. It's a big part of your life. It's important that I do know about it. And I want you to share that with me. And then like, sure, like your teen may groan and be like, oh, like, you know, this is my thing, but actually like it's showing them that, you know, you're comfortable saying you don't know something. Like parents don't need to know everything. Parents don't need to be like the number one sort of person that knows everything. They just need to be there to learn. And so it's actually a really good chance to connect with your teen in order to sort of start talking about those boundaries. And then another thing is just to ask them how they feel about some of those things you're concerned about. So, you know, if you have concerns about the sorts of accounts they follow, for instance, rather than saying, I'm concerned about this, you could actually start with, hey, could you tell me a little bit about some of the accounts that you follow? And just be curious, see what they say. They might actually surprise you in coming to some of those realizations themselves without you sort of having to sort of go in on that like attacking front foot. And then in terms of actual boundaries, like this just looks really different for all families. But one thing to really think about is role modeling. So if you have boundaries that you're really clear on as a parent that you want your teen to follow, then think about whether you yourself follow those boundaries. And if you don't set those boundaries for yourself with your teen, with your tech use, then it's probably a chance to think about that. Because, you know, you mentioned screen time, which is always a conversation that comes up when you talk about technology and teens. And the fact of the matter is if you as a parent are on your phone all the time, if you're on your phone during dinner, but you have your expectation that your teen won't be on their phone during dinner, then we're probably going to have a bit of friction there, right?
Well, look, Annie, there's a rule in parenting, which is do as I say and not as I do. So, you know, that sometimes rears its ugly head in my house. And I'm feeling a little bit seen and attacked at the same time. But you are spot on. If they see you on your phone constantly, kids model, and they'll also call you out on it. And it's happened to me with my kids. I'm like, oh, you're just going to be on your phone. And then my daughter will turn around and go, and so are you. That's why we started yelling screen time at each other. So I think that's a great idea in terms of going in with like an open heart and mind and being curious and also being resilient, don't you think? Because you will get that teenage initial kind of wall of suspicion, you know, like especially if this is the first time you've wandered in and gone, hey, tell me about the TikTok. They're going to be like, what is going on? I don't trust you. So do you think that's important just to keep like showing up, keep holding the space and being curious?
Yeah, it's an opportunity to actually give them some empowerment with it as well, because there actually might be boundaries that they can set themselves with either with a little bit of support from you, or they might have already thought about this, because actually teens are using technology all the time. They're actually thinking about their use of technology all the time. We know this, like we work with a lot of young people and we hear this from young people all the time, that they're thinking about this stuff and you know, having really positive use of social media and technology and not having, you know, negative use. So they actually might have some boundaries that they can offer up that you can then sort of, you know, take that opportunity to really, really run with in empowering them to be part of that conversation. And like, yeah, as you said, like the first time you do it, they might be like, shut up, mom. But that's fine. Like that'll happen on a whole range of different topics and issues.
100%, yeah.
and probably until they're much older than a teenager. So, one thing, I guess, like get used to that. But it's just about going, cool, well, like, if you don't talk about this now, that's fine. But I'd love to bring it up again on the weekend, or I'd love to bring it up again at this other time. And just try a few different things. If it's not going in with questions around their use, maybe it's, as Scott was talking about, maybe it's going in and being like, I just saw this really funny meme, and they'll probably think the meme isn't that funny, but it's like, it's an in, right? It's like, oh, I don't call them memes. Like, I know what we're talking about.
I did. I called them memes for so long. I did. Is it GIF or GIF? Which one?
Oh, the jury is so out on that.
Really?
Like, so out. Yeah. I actually saw a meme on Instagram last night, which was like, I think it was like a dating meme or something, and it was like the one partner who says GIF and the one partner that says GIF, and how they'll never get along. So that could be an in with your teenager. Like, you could ask that question and they'll be like, I don't know. And then there's actually so many ways you can be vulnerable and be open and be curious to actually just start that conversation. And it can be a really fun thing to explore with your teenager, because actually there's like a lot of hilarious, awesome stuff on social media that can actually bring you together and help you connect.
Sometimes for me, the boundaries is an actual physical. I try and give them other options. Like we have a family viewing of it, like a movie or a TV show each night, and all friends are kind of left. So I try to physically separate them from their devices, but not in a menacing way, more in a, hey, there's a shiny thing over here and you can look at this. And so I think I've just been trying to do a bit more of that, because obviously in lockdown, I mean, last year, the screen time for all my children, and I was feeling extremely guilty about it, but like, what are you going to do? And my 14-year-old especially, this is when they're socializing and when they just want to be with their friends and not their parents. And so she was I reckon she was putting in 12 hours off and on that screen easily. And so that wasn't set the boundaries, but I wanted to. So yeah, I think it's a tricky thing to navigate. And like you're saying, there's no hard and fast rules, but preparing to be vulnerable and resilient and curious, I think as a parent can apply to pretty much any challenge you have with your kids. I think you've unintentionally given the best parenting advice you could possibly give to parents everywhere. And that covers, any topic that comes up with your kids to be all of those things. You're a bloody genius. Annie, you're a bloody genius. Well done. All right, I'm bringing in Sergeant Darren, cybersecurity.
Hey, going.
Hey, babes. Look, we know how important conversation and two-way dialogue, as we've just discussed, is between parents and kids around the tech use is important. But how do we keep them safe? Like, how do we put some control in there? I love control. I'm Italian. I have various secret accounts that I stalk my children with online just to kind of keep across things. You probably won't suggest that. But, I mean, flat out, I'm looking you in your eye with your cool beanie and I'm saying, how do I keep my teenage daughter safe online? Just a little question, babes.
Can I start by settling the thing before and say that it's GIF? It's not.
It's not GIF. It's GIF.
Nah, it's GIF.
Can we do a poll? Can someone do a poll, please? Someone? Is it GIF or GIF?
There can be wrong answers and right answers.
All right. Tell me. Seriously, how am I keeping my kids safe online, please?
So it's, you can be pretty confident to say GIF and not GIF, but with this, it's a little bit harder. And I suppose it comes down to whether you are going to go in with carrot or a stick. And so I have a 4-year-old and a 21-month-old, right? So I'm not in the teenage territory, but I have spoken to kids and all this kind of stuff. And as part of that, doing a bit of research, I've run around to security mums and dads, so hacker mums and dads, right? Spoken to them, and they universally... I'm
sorry, I'm just going to stop you there. What did you say? Hacker mum and dads?
hacker mums and hacker dads. Oops,
Wait.
hold on. This thing's about to go off. Give me
Are you
one
okay?
second.
What's going to go? What is it?
My,
No.
my robot vac is going off. I'm gonna
You're such a nerd. I love you. Get your robot back. It's fine. Was he saying that there were hacker parents? Is this where this conversation is going? Hacker. What?
Sorry, I'm back.
Did you
If
wait? I'm
anything,
sorry.
like-
I'm just stuck on hacker parents. What?
So like the people who work in the security industry.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So they,
Okay. Got it.
yeah, and their mums and dads, and they have kids, and so they are like if you have, they have sort of the most amount of technical capacity to lock their kids down, right? So they could be Orwellian sort of observation levels, right, for these kids, and they don't do that at all. Universally, none of them do. They're all about carrot. They're all about open communication, open dialogue, and that kind of thing. Now, there are heaps of technical platforms that you can use, as you were mentioning before, that you can kind of use to really keep tabs on your kids. And that's more the kind of stick approach, I suppose. And it's really up to you what way you want to go with this. Know that your kids almost always will find a way around a technical control that you think is going to work. There's this amazing video, hacker conference, right? So people get together and they talk about hacking and all this kind of stuff. And there was like this 12-year-old kid and his dad were on stage. And the kid was doing the talk with his dad next to him. And the kid was talking about how he broke all of the technical controls that his dad had put in place to monitor his screen time, reduce his internet. It included punching a hole through the wall and getting Ethernet cabling out, right? So the kid was like nuts. Anyway, it was amazing, very cool. But it really kind of ran home with me that any kind of technical control, not any, but a lot that you put down, that you implement can, it's not, you can't use technical controls in and of itself and just leave it at that. Everyone on this panel has mentioned, Annie just mentioned it before, about open dialogue and all this kind of stuff. And that's just universally that's just the leading advice, right? Also to, lead teach your kids to sort of lead with respect online, and to report, bullying if they see it, that kind of stuff. And also, the internet wasn't designed, it wasn't designed for the way it's being used at all now. It certainly wasn't designed with kids in mind at the forefront. So that comes with its own considerations as well. So there's a bunch of platforms. So Annie is from a wonderful place, Reach Out, that has awesome services there. And please go and check that out. I've put together a bit of a document for the parents on the call so they can don't have to sort of memorize all the stuff I'm about to say. And that has all sorts of advice about some cyber safety and cyber security stuff as well, which is particularly my lane. So there's really good government resources out there that will help you sort of have successful conversations with your kids if you find that a little bit awkward, maybe.
But Darren, how do we? I'm gonna put you on the spot. How do we give me the conversation? Like, okay, I'm your 14-year-old daughter. I'm sitting down. Hey, Darren, nice beanie, bro. How do we? I really like it. I don't know why I've done it.
Yeah.
Like it's all well and good to say, have the open conversations around security, but as a cool guy who works in cybersecurity, how do I even bring this up without them straight away feeling like I'm closing in on their online time?
I mean, this is, all I can talk about is sort of so, maybe you could even answer that about how you've approached with your kids. Personally, mine are young, right? So I am not at that level yet in terms of me actually having to have those conversations. I'm actually really looking forward to, sorry, go on.
No, keep going. I'm
really looking forward to trolling the hell out of them and following, there's this great advice that we've heard about learning to, I think Grace mentioned it, like learning the games that they want to play. And that's really good advice as well. So relating to them, so you're not kind of coming in, going, hey, cool kids, what's going on? Sort of thing. So you have that kind of relatability and maybe it's not so awkward. But yeah, I can't talk from personal experience. I'd probably just get in there, really. You know,
I do.
Okay,
I do.
Maybe what I can say
Yes.
is that a couple of the parents that I've spoken to kind of let their kids do their thing. So there's these wonderful controls that are built into Pixel phones, Android phones, Samsung, Apple. They all have these controls in them that are built in that allow you to set. You probably know these.
No, I don't. Please tell me. I'm getting my pen. Wait, Daz, wait. All right, go.
It'll be in this. I'll have all the details.
Okay.
But they're in there and they monitor like screen time. They do quite a good job on like content moderation. Again, that's not foolproof because some things can slip in, but it's pretty good at keeping things, you know, at a G level or a PG level, whatever you want, that kind of thing. So they're built in. And then if you go to a specific platform like TikTok, I am the oldest man on the internet. So my favorite site is like Wikipedia and gardening YouTube. So, you know, I hear this, that TikTok has stuff on there that's like really good parental controls, and so does Facebook if kids use that. They don't. Instagram, whatever. So they all have these little moderation things where you can set who they talk to. You can't sort of share a mobile phone number, stuff like that. So there's app-specific controls, and then there's ones that apply to like the phone itself. So two levels that you can kind of approach, and that's that's not creepy or anything like that. That's something you can have an open discussion with. The creepy level, I'm
all for creepy level. Bring it on. I love creepy level of
it's in the
monitoring my children. Yes.
You want to use something?
If I could put like a chip in them, like I use that Live 360 app. You know the Live 360 app? Have you heard of that? Yeah.
Yes.
So like I'm literally tracking their every mood. I'm unabashedly stalk my children. So bring on the creepy level. Go.
Some people call that malware. Some people call it tracking.
Malware. That's me. I am the queen of malware. Yeah.
So there's two sort of things. So you can do that, and that's fine. You know, I haven't had to cross that bridge yet, but they're the two sorts of things that they're going as. Have you had success with that? Yeah, I take it you do use it, right? You're not just joking.
No, I love it because
it's good. What do you think? What do your kids think?
What of the Live 360 tracking?
Yeah,
they love it. No, really? I mean, well, they don't have anything to hide. It's not going to surprise you that we have. I'm a pretty not a loose mother, but we have a. Don't lie. Don't be a D-head. I'm not sure what Telstra's swearing policy is, so I'm really reeling it back. But we have a no D-head policy in my house, and that applies to me as well. But I'm a highly anxious person. That's not going to shock anyone in this arena. And my 19-year-old goes out to the nightclubs, and I can see at 3 a.m. that she's leaving and on her way home. And my husband does long distance riding. Oh God, can you keep anything more boring? And he had an accident, and I became very worried about him riding. So that was the only way I got him to agree to use it. And I don't know, it's just a way for them all to kind of placate their overly anxious, controlling mother/wife.
Did they have it on your phone?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? It cuts both ways, does it? Oh.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't leave the house. Yeah, like it's very boring. Sometimes they text me, "Are you okay? You actually haven't moved in 8 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just pottering. I'm fine. It's all good." But yeah, no, because you're in the arena, I am amazed at how casual you are about it. Because if I was a parent in cybersecurity, I feel like, oh my gosh, it would be out of control. I wouldn't.
There's a funny thing with like people in security. So, you know, we all have this, like we all know so much and know the kind of state of things. I guess we would just kind of, I don't know, it would either make you explode or you just kind of laugh and get it and move on. But I guess the other side of this, so you have cyber safety and then you have cyber security, and they are two sides to the same coin. And so if you care about cyber safety, you also need to care about cyber security. And the cyber security stuff, this is something I'm more offset to this guidance that I'll send you, but that I'll send everyone. But it's all about sort of passwords and password managers. So passwords suck. Everyone uses the same password for everything. That's like a super bad thing to do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so use a password manager. I'm just going to change it. Right. So use password manager, which sets it all for you, makes it super easy so you don't need to remember them anymore. That's awesome.
Okay.
And then there's another thing that you can kind of put in place called multi-factor authentication, which is really good. And that will that will protect your accounts, protect your kids' accounts. You can get, like you mentioned Fortnite before. If they do this for Fortnite, they'll get like a, what do they call it? The dancers.
Oh, let's bring Grace in. Grace.
Yeah.
I really want to ask you, we'll get back to Fortnite, the Fortnite dancers. Kids playing other people online, how do you kind of remind them that they're not your mate, even though you might think they're your mate? They're actually strangers. And maybe don't tell them your middle name or where you live. That's a thing, right? Because when you're gaming someone, it kind of becomes quite an intimate relationship, doesn't it?
Well, I think there's levels to it. And there's a number of games that are very playable without needing to be playing with random people online. There's a bunch of games that are very controlled and you can just be playing with people that you do know and are good friends with. But I think beyond that, and if they are playing with people that perhaps they don't know in real life, or IRL, maybe, if you want to use the lingo. IRL. Then I think it's sort of just treating it as how you would chat with anyone that you might meet in the street and keeping it at that high level. And I think relating it back to an in real life experience is probably a pretty easy way to achieve that, or just playing more regularly with people that you do know, which is sort of trending that way as well.
Yeah. Annie, I'll bring you in. Online friendships, obviously stemming off this gaming situation. Are you there? There she is. Oh, top knot. There she is. The idea of the online friendships, obviously, this is not a new thing, but it does spring up out of gaming, but also through TikTok or through DMs, through Snapchat. All that. You get to know people before you've even met them IRL. How do we kind of have that conversation with our children about, just the little boundaries that need to be put in with people you've never actually met?
Yeah, so I think an important sort of learning for parents is that actually you can make meaningful friends online. And it's kind of the first thing I'll say, because I think if you do it safely and you do it right, and you've got those boundaries in place with your teen or the young person that you care for, you can actually make really good connections online. But as you said, it's about knowing when that might be an appropriate sort of, I guess, boundary just to cross over, and how to do that safely. So firstly, really recognizing that young people these days make connections in all sorts of different ways, and then talking to them about those like sort of safety questions. So, how much do you know about this person? Where did you meet them? Was it in an Insta DM? Do you just follow them on TikTok and you're sending them a message? What sort of details are you giving them? And what do you actually know about them? What sort of details have they given you? And really, the most important thing there is to make sure that your teen knows that you're there for them and knows that they can come to you with any questions, because what you don't want is for them to think that you're just totally against this, and so they won't bring it up. And as Darren says, they'll just find another way around it.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to stay calm in those conversations, to, like, if you need to take a deep breath, literally, like, take a moment outside if you need to, be like, let's revisit this in a second, and actually say that, no matter like what you're doing online, I want to know what's happening. I want us to be able to talk about this. I want us to be able to have a dialogue about, who you're making friends with, why you're making friends with them, because that can also open up lots of other conversations. Like, maybe they're connecting with this person online for reasons like that are happening at school, for instance.
Yeah.
And that might not be something you're aware of. So it can help open those sort of conversations up.
Yeah. And I know that, oftentimes when, as a parent, I've been to so many cyber chats at school and it's really heavy, and you walk away thinking like, someone's going to traffic my children's organs. I need to lock them in an Amish community. Oh my God. I know that like you have a very positive attitude, even though, you know, considering where you work and the services you offer, you want to remind parents that it's also a really cool, great place.
Yeah, like we're realistic at Reach Out. Young people use social media. Young people will always use social media. You know, that's just a way of life now, and we have to recognize that young people are actually using social media for in a lot of the same ways that people used to maybe use phone calls to a landline, for instance, or I know, wild. Can't even imagine what anyone would do with a landline these days. But you know, if you remember back as a parent, like after school, you might have spent hours on the phone to your friends. Like I remember when they introduced, you could have like 3-way phone calls, and that was like the coolest thing ever. And all of that is still happening now, just in a different format and in a different setting. So social media can absolutely just like be an amazing place where young people can connect. The other thing with connection, it's not just social connection, with people they know from school or sport. It's also connection with causes that they care about. We know that Gen Z really, really care about the state of the world and the future. And it's a great opportunity to be able to connect with causes, to connect with artists they like, and also, you know, for more vulnerable and marginalised communities, it's a really great opportunity to be able to connect with people like them. So, you know, a really great example of that is young people who might be part of the LGBT community, and maybe even living, say, in a regional area, and they might not know as many people that are like them. They might not have even met somebody like them. And to be able to see examples of happy and well people from that community on social media can be like really powerful for giving that person, that young person, a sense of purpose and a sense that they're not alone, and that you know, everything's going to be okay. So there's lots of ways that social media can actually sort of be positive for young people. I mean, I know I love watching like cake decorating reels.
Oh my God, me too. They're so
I
relaxing.
just find it really relaxing.
Me too.
Deeply, deeply relaxing. And I don't even decorate cakes. Like that's not even an activity I actually am involved in. But it's just so relaxing. Or like there's like accounts you can follow that are literally called like satisfying videos.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Yeah. So good. And actually, like taking a little bit, you know, that can be really good self-care for young people, where they go, okay, I'm feeling really anxious. Like maybe I've got an exam and I'm getting really overwhelmed with all the study I have to do. I'm gonna set a 5-minute limit, and I'm just gonna hop onto this like one feed or one account, or you know, your algorithm probably sets it up in your Discover part anyway. Yeah. And I'm just gonna like literally on a timer, 5 minutes, gonna do that, and then I'm gonna come back and be a little bit more calm. So you know, there's lots of different ways that it can be positive, and really for parents, it's about you know, setting boundaries, thinking about what your own boundaries are, and having that conversation so that you can both come to sort of like an agreement, and so that you can both be able to speak about the negative things without there being fear, without there being you know, an awkwardness that may lead to disconnection on that topic.
Yeah. And do you have, I guess, how do we tackle they're definitely spending too much time online? Like, this is a fact. We've gone past health, but we don't upset them. How do we do that?
Yes, screen time is going to look really different for every person and every family. Look, you mentioned COVID last year, that we were getting so many questions about screen time, and it's hard because people are like young people are attending school 8 hours a day on screens. They also couldn't catch up with their friends. So whilst some socialization will always happen on social media and online, suddenly it was all happening online. So it was a pretty wild time, but I think it gave us some really good learnings. And what we say is there's not like a hard and fast rule. It's not like you should spend this many minutes on social media a day, but what you can do is do a family screen time audit. Which sounds very
oh
fishy,
no.
very
Oh
fancy.
God. Oh no, I see where you're going with this. No. Boo. Is this
Yeah.
like a you show me mine, I'll show you yours, and then you got to be like, this is how many hours? Is this what you're suggesting, young woman?
Yes, it is.
God.
And I know that might be confronting. Trust me, I would find that confronting too. I actually personally, like in the last few months, have set up screen time limits on my phone, which you can do. You can actually set up. I know that Apple phones do it. I'm sure that Androids do as well. You can actually set up how much time you want to spend on an app each day, and it'll give you a reminder. So yeah, it's basically like you need to kind of all approach that together, be in it together, and that's how you can actually like address screen time. So like the audit might look like actually just looking for option, like looking at all the different screens you use. It might look like looking at your TV use, your laptop use, your phone use, any of those devices, and then going on and going, okay, well, this is what feels comfortable. This is not what feels comfortable, and let's test it out. And then after you've kind of done that, likely the first time you do the audit and maybe put some boundaries in place, it likely won't feel necessarily right. But what you can do is then restart that conversation and like make it something you do as a family. And this is something we give advice to and support to parents a lot on a number of different topics. It's really good to do that sort of thing around self-care as well. It's all about role modeling, and just know that it's going to look really different for everybody. And we hear it from a lot of parents, and you've definitely expressed this throughout the session that there's a lot of guilt around screen time. Parents feel guilty, and I want to say, like, don't feel guilty.
Yes.
It's not. This looks different for every family, and every family is going to be addressing this in different ways. And just because your teen is using screens, what you deem to be too much right now, that doesn't mean that they're ruined for life and you're done. It's just.
I love you, Annie, so much. I didn't think I'd be walking away feeling like a better person.
But it just, like, what I always like to say is the fact that you're noticing that, the fact you're going, oh, I feel something's off, that means you're a great parent.
Yes.
That means that you're recognizing that there's something that you need to address with your young person and that you're taking a step to address it. So it's never feel guilty for your teen using screens too much, particularly in the last 18 months, because screens have been a very necessary part of young people's lives. And just make sure that you're role modeling, and, it might be a good opportunity to, make some positive changes in your own habits as well.
Yeah, sure. Or just like hide it from them. Gracie, I'll bring you in because we were having a discussion off air around the idea of kids watching other kids play games on YouTube, or like watching other kids just do anything online. What? Why?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting one. And it's one that I hear all the time, which I think is kind of understandable on one hand. And then on the other hand, I think about the fact that, everyone watches sport or watches reality TV. And if you think about it, there's actually a heap of activities that you like watching other people do. And I think there's really two parts as to why people love that. I think there's the element that's quite similar to sport, which is where sometimes you don't just want to play football, you actually want to watch other people play it really well, play it at a higher skill level than you, play it with entertaining commentary. You want to be able to hear sort of the audience in the background, you want to be able to hear the commentators. There's that whole element. And then I think there's also kind of an interesting element where social media, or becoming social media famous or popular, or somehow being able to create a career from it, is one of the top career aspirations that teenagers have these days. People love the idea that they're able to turn something that started as a hobby into a career. And I think creators with big social followings kind of hit this interesting balance between being really aspirational and being really relatable as well. On one hand, they're seeing these creators have these incredible opportunities and be able to, you know, really support themselves or buy houses or travel or whatever off the back of what they're doing. And then on the other hand, they see them and they're just like, well, they're just like me. They're playing the same games as I do. They're in their bedroom. I'm in my bedroom. And there's that relatable element. So I think there's a couple reasons there.
Okay. Now that actually makes sense to me when you said like the sports situation. I get it now. I get it. All right, we're going to move to some questions from our wonderful audience. Scotty, are you there, darling? Oh, I've neglected you, honey. Oh,
Don't even worry about it.
Oh, you had all the spotlight at the top, didn't you, doll?
Right at the beginning, when I'm most awake.
What age do you reckon TikTok is best for? This comes from Sharon. Hello, Sharon. What would you recommend in terms of ages on TikTok?
That's an interesting one. I think it's recommended that you be 12 or 13, I think is the age limit to start having a TikTok account. But not being a parent, I can't necessarily speak entirely. I'd say it is safe to have an account under that as long as you're monitoring what they're watching. And especially if you know what they're watching, it's okay to have them watch a lot of the other creators that they'd be watching on other platforms. There are a lot of TV shows that have their own channels and they post the same sort of clips, both cartoons and like Play School back from my childhood, that kind of like type show. They're on the platforms as well. So really, I think once they start to use any social media platform, they'll probably start to pick up on more and more of them.
Yeah.
As long as you're monitoring or know what they're watching and can control that a little bit, I think it's okay.
Okay. Sorry, that was from Hannah. Sorry, Hannah. Okay, this is Michaela. What is Snapchat and how does it work? Scott, I feel like you can explain that one too for some reason. Snapchat
is like the predecessor, I feel like, to TikTok. It's almost like a direct messaging service combined with content consumption. So its primary purpose is to share photos and videos with your friends or people you know, and they disappear after a certain time. So you're really restricted. Once you view it once, it's more or less gone. It also has other elements which they've integrated over the years where you can view stories and they're up for a little bit longer period of time. You can rewatch them. It's like just about any other social media platform and messaging service combined. So it's a bit of a mix between the two. It's a little bit tougher to monitor as a parent because things are often just viewed once and then
things disappear, don't they? Yes. Terrifying.
Very quickly.
And then I've caught my daughters taking pictures of screens. Like, so it doesn't actually disappear. It doesn't disappear.
No, not if you do it that way. But it's something that I think is useful for or to talk to your friends with, basically. That's what I use it for primarily. I chat with my friends. I send them photos. I don't do a lot of the communication with other creators on it or people I don't know. So it's a bit more like a direct messaging service for me.
Okay. All right. Annie, I'm going to fill this one to you. What's the best way to set boundaries around phone use at bedtime?
So phone use at bedtime is a really interesting one. A lot of parents ask about this, and what actually a lot of parents do is just have some really clear boundaries that, the whole family stick to, and that's around having a certain time that your phone sits outside the room. There's been a lot of like research into the fact that the like light waves that phones emit can stop you from sleeping well. So, you know, having rules around like, before bed, we're not going to be using our phones and we're going to charge them outside, can just be like, you know, you can have a family charging station where like all the phones charge overnight. That's where they all are. Buy your teen one of those little like $1 alarm clocks so they can still wake up in the morning, of course, because that's always the excuse that will be given.
100% every time. I'll say to my daughter, hand it over. She goes, it's my alarm. I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, good. I like that. Okay.
So,
all right.
Setting it up like that, I think, can work.
Okay. All right. I like that. Oh, Grace is back. There she is. We lost you, Gracie. Here she is. Daz, you're sitting there and you're like, why am I here? What's going on? Are you all right? Are you awake? Are you good?
I'm fine, yes.
Do you think do you think there's a way to have a chat with kids about security without sounding like the police? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, I go back to Fortnite again. So Epic Games is the producer of Fortnite, if I'm not wrong, and they incentivize the use of this amazing technology called multi-factor authentication, which so it's a positive thing, right? So everyone who well, not everyone, but a lot of people seem really disempowered by security. They're kind of scared of it or whatever, or they think there's kind of people out to get them and that kind of thing. And sure, there's like a lot of bad stuff out there, but you can really protect yourself with a few simple steps. And for kids, I mean, who are really used to technology, all of this stuff is really intuitive. It's all apps and free apps and things like that you use. And they can go from, almost open slather to really, really secure. It's just to a level of security where, bad guys are going to just go next and just go to the next account, right?
Yeah, right.
So they can really be in a small amount of, it's just such a small little bit of effort. And the same effort that they would take applies all the way. Like parents should be doing the same thing. Small businesses should be doing the same thing. It's these core little technology. And it works it's on Xbox, it's on Reddit, it's on all the apps and services that we use. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Good. You are very useful. Scotty, we've got a question here, which I would actually like to know. It's gone. Someone asked, can anyone contact your kid on TikTok? Like, can anyone access them in their direct messages?
In direct messages? No.
Yeah. No?
No. So it's one of those things which is great. It's got a great initial and by default as well set up to it. So to connect and chat with people in direct messages on TikTok, you have to have that mutual follow connection. So you follow me and I follow you back, and then you'll appear in that. You can try and send, but for the most part, they'll be hidden from view. And those creators won't generally respond anyway. Also, if you have a kid's account or an account that's under, I think it's 13 to 15 is about that age bracket, they can't send messages at all. I also don't believe they can post in people's comment sections or tag other people and chat in those kind of workarounds either. So it's got some really good restrictions set by default to assist with those kids' accounts. And then, once you get to that 13 to 15 mark, if they switch it, you can switch to just that mutual follow connection. So you can still chat with your friends, but only once you've got that safe follow back.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. We're going to wrap up, guys. We've gone over time, but that was always going to happen because I love to chat. I want to talk to each of you individually. Gracie, I'll start with you. What's my entry level game as a parent? If I want to engage my kids, what's my game?
I think maybe depends on their age. If they're a little bit younger, maybe a Minecraft or Roblox. And then if they're a little bit older, maybe Fortnite.
Really? You're sending me into Fortnite just like that?
I have faith in. I think you can do it.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. I'll try. Gracie, thank you so much for your knowledge and your wonderful manner. And I'm now obsessed with going to look up Twitch. And with Twitch, I understand you can people are quite funny and they commentate things and it's a little bit of comedy around the games. Is that what happens?
Yeah. It's a lot of people sort of showing their own perspective of their gameplay, and then also you can see their face generally as well. So it's kind of fun. It makes you feel like you're hanging out with friends.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. You're a gem. You're a wonder. Scotty.
Thank you.
Scotty, darling. Where can people find you on TikTok? What's your handle?
Scott.Borson, which if you follow the same way it's spelt in all the promo material, you'll find me there. Nice and simple.
Okay. All right. And what's the next thing? What's going viral? Give it to me. Come
on.
What's
going big
What's
on
happening?
TikTok next?
Yes.
I think any song that Olivia Rodriguez posts or comes out with in the coming weeks. It might be a couple of months before she posts that, but anything. That's the fun part of it. Post some cooking. Winter's coming up, so lots of winter-related things. Maybe some skiing, snow angels. That could be a trend. Such a broad scope that it could go to.
I just want to remind people who like Olivia Rodriguez that Avril Lavigne got there first. Okay? Go pay respect where it's due. Thank you very much for your insights tonight, Scotty. I can't wait to see what you do next. I'm going to go follow you right now. I actually am. No, I'm not just saying that. I'm doing it. Daz, security expert. Look, what do you want to send parents away with? Because we all do often get the lectures of everything is bad. So what do you want to say to us, to me especially right now?
Well, I mean, security is something that is a great enabler, right? So it can allow you to do all of these wonderful things from, he's up there, social media to gaming and everything in a way that's, that keeps you safe. That means you don't have to worry about sort of ghosts in the wires and hackers in hoodies and all this kind of
Hackers in hoodies.
Right? Well, that's kind of how everyone sort of thinks about it. And it's not surprising. That's the way it's sort of presented. But yeah, so, the tools and stuff that's available is super empowering. So, I see security as a really kind of in a different light, I think. So yeah, have those conversations with your kids. And
I love that. And don't watch Mr. Robot ever. And Annie, finally, darling Annie, you're so wise tonight, my oracle. How can we find you and reach out, and how am I accessing all this great information?
You can find me in most pools around Sydney, but you can find Reach Out, more importantly, at reachout.com for young people. So if you have young people up to the age of 25 who need any sort of support around mental health, and social media being one of those things, then absolutely head to reachout.com. For parents, reachout.com/parents. We've got lots of great resources, conversation guides around social media and technology. We've got a new guide out that we worked with Instagram on a parent's guide to Instagram, which has lots of great tips. We've got an online community where you can talk to other parents. And we've also got a live conversation around social media happening next Monday on our Facebook page. So go give us a follow on Facebook. I know that's an old-timey sort of social media, but this is
he's on, steady on. I'm still on there. It's fine.
So am I. Sorry, so am I. But this is a conversation for parents with a parent and a young person, and with Facebook and Instagram around managing social media. So come and join us on that conversation next Monday.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you all so much for your time. Guys, I hope you all got something out of this. I certainly did, several things. And make sure you're following Telstra's Instagram account, because there's going to be lots of stuff about all of this content over the next few weeks. I have been Em Russiano, your spiritual guide. You can find me. I'm everywhere. I'm a girl about town. Just look for my name. It's very ethnic. You'll find it. There's only one of me. And I want to thank all my panelists. Thank you, lovelies. Yay! Crazy hands. All right, that's I'm done. I'm signing off. Bye, guys.